How's it going, everybody? I'm Gary. I'm a voice actor, I'm a gamer, and I'm also a Ph.D. in machine learning for speech applications. I'll tell you guys a dirty little secret that academia doesn't want you to know about. You don't need to be smart to get your Ph.D. I'm kind of living proof of that. But I hope you listen to what I have to say anyway, because I'm in this really weird intersection where I'm kind of the perfect person to talk about what's going on with the voiceover gaming industry and AI and the strike. For the voice actors that are listening right now, I am going to start with a word of caution. Click off this video at your own peril, because this is really important. Okay, so yeah, let's start with the video game voiceover strike. Anyone who has been paying attention knows that the video game voice actors, they've been on strike since 2024. Yeah, it was a mistake. The strike was an absolutely massive mistake, and I have absolutely no idea how they could have possibly thought it would have ended well. I knew from the very beginning that the strike would be a mistake, and I had the opportunity to chat with some people, but at the time, I was a little bit more new to voiceover and I didn't want to make anyone upset. So I kind of took this approach of,
oh, are you sure that you want to go on strike? Are you sure that's the right thing to do?
I really should have just said it straight. This strike is a huge mistake and you do not know what you're doing. It's like every single time a group of workers goes on strike against AI, they always get replaced. Like you want to be on strike because you want to prove your worth and you're going to do that by striking and not doing your jobs. But what makes you think that employers aren't just going to see this and think we should replace them with AI as quickly as we can so we don't have to deal with them anymore? I think the worst part is all the actors during the strike kept saying things like, humans will always be better than AI. AI will never solve human emotion. The AI engineers thrive off of that energy. To them, that's just like pure arrogance. You know, there are a lot of AI guys that actually kind of take pride in destroying artists. It's kind of like a way of knocking Hollywood off their high horse. This idea that, you know, us as performers were like magically special and magically better than the robot. AI will eventually be just as good as humans. And that's not like my magical feelings of technological inevitability talking. It's actually a mathematical fact. It's called the universal approximator theorem. Long story short, the theorem says that AI will eventually be able to solve any problem no matter how arbitrary it is. You know, every time I talk about this topic, I always get a bunch of actors saying things like, why don't you have empathy for your fellow voice actor? I'm the only one left with empathy for the voiceover industry. You know, sag-aftra, the acting union, and, you know, all the top voice actors, they're telling you to go out and strike. And look, I get it, but what happens when the strike results in AI taking your job? Will SAG-AFTRA say, oh, well, that's too bad, you lost some revenue, I'm gonna make that up to you. You lost publicity, I'm gonna help you get your publicity back. Or are they gonna say, oh no, that's so sad, you lost your job. Anyway, how much money did I make today? Believe it or not, I actually want the voiceover industry to stay human. And in order to keep the industry human, in order to save the industry, it's actually really, really easy. Win the gamers. Like, is it really that hard of a concept to understand? You know, the people who are actually out there buying our product, the ones that run the economy of the video games. You know, if the gamers actually liked us enough to the point where they were like, oh, well, we don't want to buy games with AI in them, like no company would use AI because no company's going to risk their profit margin like that. It's such a simple solution. But it's like, why are we always either ignoring them or attacking them or blaming them for something? Every few years, there's some new group of people trying to blame the gamers for some problem in society. Like in the 80s, it was like claiming that the gamers were causing like satanic rituals with games like Doom or like D&D. And then in the 90s and 2000s, I think it was the Republicans who were claiming that gamers were causing gun violence and crime. I think that was completely disproven. And now in like modern times, it's like games are causing racism or sexism or political extremism or whatnot. Like how many times do we have to blame the gamers for whatever problem in society before we realize they just want to play good games? It's not that hard to understand them. It's like if you just take a little bit of time and actually listen to what they're saying. Oh, and by the way, the gamers, the ones that can actually save us by voting with their wallet, by saying we don't want to play AI, you know they hate us.
I said so many of the VAs were shit for so long, and once again, Techie was right.
This is about calling out people who are being fucking awful dickheads. Not Hoyo in this case, but SAG-AFTRA, who are being maliciously misleading.
I mean, let's be honest, the general public hates us, but especially the gamers. We're the ones holding their games hostage, so let's be real here, I don't blame them at all. Like, to them and to the general public, we're just these pompous, arrogant artists who claim to understand the world better than anyone else and demand that we get paid more for the art that, frankly, they probably don't even care about. In fact, I think like the last bastion of hope for the video game voiceover industry fighting against AI is like the anime community. JRPGs and anime games and whatnot. Because those fans specifically seem to really care about the voice actors and how they portray the characters and how the stories are driven by, actual voices. So games like Persona and Final Fantasy and Genshin Impact. Oh wait! Did I say Genshin Impact? At this point, I think anybody who's been paying attention to the strike at least knows the whole Genshin Impact voice actor fiasco, and I'm not going to summarize it here. This one was a bit of a shock to me because of all the areas that the strike was active in, Genshin Impact seemed to be the only one that actually seemed to have the possibility of success. Like, the fans freaking loved the voice acting, they loved the anime voices, and they were fighting for the voice actors for like a good 6-7 months. It's like they actually genuinely cared about the voice actors. How the heck did we fumble that so badly? Like, we literally had to do nothing. We had to sit on our butts and just do absolutely nothing. And there was a reasonable likelihood that the voice actors would actually succeed there. Like, why are we always treating the fans like this? They are quite literally calling for the video game voiceover destruction.
What game companies need to do, I would be thinking about how can I get AI in my games as fast as possible so I can stop paying these psychotic freaks that are sitting around on Twitter trying to fuck up my product.
Nobody's gonna feel sorry for you when you're eventually replaced by other people who are not obnoxious, or you're replaced by AI.
But we screwed that one up so badly that even the Chinese Genshin fans, the ones that have absolutely nothing to do with the English dub, they're calling for English voice actors to be replaced. I absolutely promise you, if you have the gamers' backs, they will have your back. First of all, the gamers are like the only group of people I've ever seen who actually can stick to a boycott. Look at the number of games they've successfully taken down because they didn't like the developers' pompous attitudes or they didn't like the messaging or whatnot. Forspoken, Avowed, Star Wars Outlaws, Suicide Squad, Skull and Bones, Dragon Age the Veilguard. Heck, freaking Concord didn't last a month before it was completely obliterated off the face of the earth. And yet nobody even listens to the gamers, even after they've demonstrated how good they are at voting with their wallet. Like, the game developers attack the gamers, social media attacks the gamers, even their own freaking gaming news media attacks the gamers. For like the past 20 years, literally no one has actually bothered to listen to the gamers and, try to understand what they're doing, and no one has taken their side at all. And that's all they really want. And I guarantee you, if you defend the gamers, they will have your backs. And now, here's the part where a lot of voice actors are going to get really uncomfortable and really upset. Because if you want to understand the gamers, you actually have to listen to them. And you have to listen deeply. Because they're not always clear on what exactly they're saying and what exactly they mean. There are a whole bunch of them on YouTube, and they're posting their ideas for free. But I guarantee you, you guys are going to hate some of them, because they don't speak in very eloquent ways. They often speak very vulgar. They speak their minds very directly. They don't sugarcoat things. They're kind of like just very in your face. Here's a list of people that I think represent the gaming culture really well, and also will probably get me canceled. If you want to pay more attention to hardcore gamer culture, people like Asmongold. If you want to see more like snarky criticisms of the anime and gaming world, you can pay attention to guys like Hiro Hey and Rev Says Des. That's such a silly name. If you want to see more long-form commentary, there are guys like Endymion or Legendary Drops. In fact, there's even like a big satire channel called Fleekazoid. It's really sarcastic, but if you actually pay attention, he has some really good information there as well. And I know exactly what you all are about to say. You're about to say, oh, well, these people are guilty of spreading misinformation and, the things they say are wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think they're spreading misinformation or they're saying things that you don't like. Because you shouldn't just pay attention to what they're saying, but the sentiment of why they are saying it. Pay attention to what feeling they have, instead of immediately calling them liars, because I guarantee you they're not lying, or at least not intentionally, because I will tell you exactly what they are. What they are is frustrated. They are frustrated that no one ever listens to them. They are frustrated that no one ever attempts to understand them. They are frustrated that no one ever attempts to relate to them. And they are trying to communicate in the only way that they have left, which is loud and direct, because that's the only thing anyone ever listens to. At the end of the day, if you actually pay attention to what they're saying, all they really care about is games. In fact, they care about games just as much as we do. In fact, they care about games probably way more than we do. They're actually spending their free time on these things. Of course they care about games. But we, as the voice actors, do we not have the ability to have some level of empathy to try to understand why they are saying the things that they're saying instead of immediately branding them as like evil or liars? You know, for a group of actors that claims to be the empathetic people, we're not very empathetic at all, are we? But if there's one takeaway for the voice actors, it's pay attention to the gamers, because they are quite literally the only ones who can save the video game voiceover industry. But if you're willing to watch just a little bit more, I am going to leave you all voice actors with a little bit of a word of warning. Reject me at your own peril. If you reject me or others like me who are willing to actually stand up and defend the gamers, if you're willing to blacklist me or, other people like me who are willing to actually try to talk to the gamers, think about the message you are about to send them. As I've said earlier, they are the only ones I've ever seen who can successfully vote with their wallet. They've successfully taken down companies, they've successfully taken down game developers. You're a fool to think that they can't also successfully take down this entire video game voice actor industry if they so chose to. Now, a message to all the gamers out there watching. I will stand by you and I will do my best to support you, and I will do my best to try to encourage other voice actors out there, the video game voice actors specifically, to support you. But I'm also fairly sure that most of you know the industry doesn't really like you guys. Look at what happened with the whole Genshin thing. A lot of people got like a multitude of threats, and now the voice actors are running scared because they don't want to talk to you guys and they feel uncomfortable with threats. But do you know who's not afraid of talking to you guys? Me. More than anything, I just want to have a chat with you guys. If you guys are interested or you guys are willing to, reach out to me, I would absolutely love it. I would love to have like a live conversation on stream to help, clarify things, or maybe like a video if you're a content creator, or even just email me and say hi or whatnot. I can't really respond to everyone, obviously, but I'm actually really grateful and really thankful for all the emails I get. So I also have like a Twitter. I'm honestly not very good at the whole social media thing. I'm trying to be better at it. But mostly on my Twitter, I just post announcements on things that are coming out. It's mostly for casting directors, but if you are interested in following the things that I'm working on, or like the games or other things that I'm in, feel free to follow me. If you want to support me, just, check out the games I'm in and the upcoming games that are coming out with me in them. I try to keep that up to date. I hope to see you there. So yeah, that's all I really have to say. Wherever you are in the world, either good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, I will see you all next time.